Hey everyone, welcome to Earthling Cooks. Today we're going to make hash browns. Very simple to make at home, they don't take too long, and you get nice fresh hash browns right when you want them. So you don't need that much setup or ingredients. We got a potato which I peeled and I just have it sitting in water. You're going to need some butter and oil. You can also use ghee, or you can make your own clarified butter if you want to. You don't need ghee, but since I have it I'm going to put a little bit in the pan. You're good with just butter and oil. Of course, salt and pepper. And then you're going to need some type of grater. One like this, put like on a plate and you can grate like this. I use that one often, but I also have this one that just grates into its own little bin. Put this down and I can just rub the potato here. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing that and see what type of pieces we're going to get out of this. This one also cuts both ways, so it's a little faster. But as you can see, I guess you couldn't see me grating it on camera much, I was a little low. But I got nice potato coming there. What we're going to do is fully grate this. And then once it's fully grated, we're going to put all the cuttings back into cold water. And we're going to rinse them a couple times to get as much starch off as we can. So I'm going to go ahead and finish grating this, and we'll come back, look at the next step. I grated almost all the potato, just a little left. I don't want to cut my hands, so I'm just going to toss that aside. The stuff that comes on top, I'm just throwing in the water. And then we got my big bin full of the cuttings. And there's a good amount there. I'd say each potato is probably going to give you at least enough for 2 people. If you're going to make enough for 3 or 4 people, definitely use 2 potatoes. But 1 should be good for 2 people at least. Now we're going to let this sit, kind of swish it around a little bit. We're trying to get the starch out. We're going to go ahead and let it sit. Then we're going to drain it. We'll just let it sit for like a few minutes. Then we'll drain it and refill it with water again. And we'll drain and empty it 3 or 4 times with cold water. And then we'll come back and look at the next step. I've rinsed them many times and now I've drained them in a strainer. Now we're going to go ahead and put them on a paper towel. And we're going to try to get as much water out as we can. So I'll usually kind of just fold this over, squeeze a bit, and I'm going to have to probably get another set of paper towels because this one is going to get fully soaked pretty quick. I like to use fairly strong paper towel for this. You don't want to use a paper towel that's a little bit less quality, that's going to break apart, because you don't want little pieces of paper in your food. So do try to use either a kitchen cloth that's clean or a better set like this of paper towels. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some more paper towels, and I'm just going to pat this more dry. And I'm going to want to get as much liquid as I can out, and then we'll go ahead to the next step. This is what we got out of 1 potato, and this is a pretty big plate actually. It's like probably could get 3 servings out of this 1 potato actually. It just depends how much you really want. Now we're at the stove and I've got a medium-high heat. You can use non-stick pan, cast iron pan, steel pan, whatever you want. Gonna go ahead and throw in some olive oil. You can be generous. If you ever watch someone cook at a breakfast restaurant, they put a lot of butter and oil into things like hash browns. So I'm going to add some butter as well. And I'm even going to add just a little bit of my ghee, or clarified butter. Going to make sure my pan is hot. It's hot in the middle, that's for sure. Get this starting to melt down. And it's going to look like we have a lot of oil and butter, but it's all going to get absorbed. And if you want it like a breakfast restaurant, they use a lot of butter and oil. That's just how it is, how to make it tasty. Get this butter fully cooked down. So now we're going to go ahead and just put our hash browns in. And we'll go ahead and get them kind of shaped just in a circle. You want a light layer. You don't want it to be too thick or it won't cook evenly, but you don't want it to be just paper thin either. So I'm just trying to break it up and get it kind of into a shape here. And now we just want to leave this on medium-high heat for about 5 minutes. Don't even touch it right now, just leave it alone and give it about 5 minutes. While we're cooking on the first side, you're going to want to go ahead and salt and pepper. You can add other seasonings if you want to. I usually just add some salt and pepper. And we're getting ready to flip here almost. It's been a few minutes. You could season right away, I just waited a second. But as long as you do it before you flip, you're fine. So now we should be about ready to flip, and this is too big to flip all at once. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe try to cut it in half almost. I don't know if I'll be able to flip half at a time even. Let me give this a look. Well, okay, it looks like we're getting there. You can see that brown here, but it looks like I could actually give it another couple seconds on this side. We want a nice crisp crust. I'm going to go ahead and cut this into 4 because then I can flip it easier later, so just for easier flipping. I like my hash browns pretty crispy. It's been a little over 5 minutes and I think we're probably good to flip now. So go ahead and flip the first one. Oops, that was a bad flip. And that's looking pretty good to me. Nice color. Spatula, come on. That one's looking nice. Oh yeah. This front one I like the best. It's the most crisp. I think my pan's a little bit off center. That might be why the front one crisps more. But as you can see now, we have a really nice color going on. And now what I'll do is cook another few minutes on the other side. As you can see, it's not burned at all. It's really hard to burn hash browns. I got my heat almost all the way up. And you're going to want pretty high heat. It's going to be hard to burn them. Yes, you can burn them, but it's pretty hard to. So now we're just going to cook a few more minutes till the other side has a golden brown. And what I would do now if I was cooking breakfast is I would actually probably turn off the pan. Since I'm using cast iron, its heat lasts a long time. But even in a non-stick, you could just turn off the pan now and get your eggs ready, or make sure everything else for breakfast is prepared, and these will be nice and hot when you're ready for them. The second side won't take as long, but it's not going to get crispy right away. You can still see it's just starting to get crisp. So we're going to go ahead and let this sit with the heat on, since I'm not cooking anything else with it right now, for another 2-3 minutes. After a couple minutes, we'll go ahead and check one. Oh, that looks great. I like that color on that one. And I'm on, like I said, almost the highest heat in a cast iron pan. Looking nice. Oh yeah, that looks great. So now we are going to call that done. I'm going to go ahead and plate it, and we'll take a final look. And here is our final product. It is just looking great. We got a nice crisp. You can probably hear cracking. Crisp outside, but the inside is still going to be nice and gooey. I can feel it still is nice and smushy. Have a nice crust with a nice softer interior. Super simple. What's great about this is the potato was 50 cents, and we just used a little butter, oil, and salt and pepper. So I mean, split this between 2 people, that's 25 cents each, or 25 cents per plate. Put a couple eggs on each plate, we're up to like 40 cents per plate. Maybe add some sausage, and we're up to like 60 cents more for the sausage, like up to $1 for a plate. So sausage, egg, hash browns, you can make for $1 at home, whereas at a restaurant, you might pay $10 to $15 for a meal that simple. Breakfast foods are really cheap, but restaurants love to charge you a ton. Learn how to make them at home, and spend 1/10 the cost and have stuff that you know how you made it, and it's even better. Any questions, let me know. Happy cooking. We'll see y'all later.